Ireland's our closest large trading partner, and we've got some obviously long-standing economic, political, social ties going back a long way. That relationship is strong, but working together, there's a lot more we can do to strengthen trade and investment ties in both directions. Causeway is hugely important. It plays an absolutely pivotal role in making those connections between Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, joining up business people and businesses, doing the networking, holding events like this, and making sure we've got those opportunities to be able to connect and do business together.
The feedback that we get from members when they join us for the first time, and the kinds of things that they say to us, is that Causeway it's a friendly organisation. There aren't many big egos there. Sometimes they feel like they've kind of found their tribe. So our mission is to grow those members and give more people the opportunity to join Causeway and establish some of those really important business and professional links across the Irish Sea.
Welcome everybody. It's absolutely lovely to see you all here, and thank you so much for giving up your time to be here. I would like to our events, as it said in that document, in that video there, is to attract members from across Scotland, Ireland, and Northern Ireland, as well as bringing our dual British and Irish Tradie Association members here tonight, and to really wish you all a really great welcome, and really our new members and members that are not yet to become members. I hope you find out an awful lot about Causeway here this evening. So my name is Judith O'Leary. I'm co-chair of Causeway, and my other co-chair, Bridget, unfortunately cannot be with us here, but you heard from her at the end of that video, and she summed up really well our mission. So today, what's really important, that there'll be time for us to meet and talk to each other, so there will be networking. So please do be prepared to come off mute and turn your camera on when we go into the networking rooms. This is being recorded, and we will be using some of this across social media, so please just be aware of that. So in terms of our speakers here today, I am absolutely delighted that we'll hear from Katie McNeill, the new head of the Scottish Government Office in Ireland, and Jenny Quinn, the new Vice Consul to the Consulate General of Ireland in Scotland. So that's really lovely to meet you both today, and really delighted that you are here. We will be having some quick spotlight chats with some of our Scottish members who export or operate in Ireland. So that's going to be a really interesting part of our session here today. Causeway, as was highlighted in the video, really has a real focus to protect and enhance the trading relationships between Scotland, Ireland, and Northern Ireland. And it's about providing an informal business platform that allows businesses to connect, to communicate, and collaborate. And I think as an organisation, we are very successful in doing this, and we do this in an informal way, but also a very focused way. We're all here to grow our businesses, to grow our networks, and to make sure that we meet like-minded people who share our same values. And that's certainly what I would like to see coming out of today. So the first person we'll go to is Katie. So Katie McNeill will talk about the Ireland-Scotland relationship and the bilateral review going forward, and the commitments from both governments. So can I welcome Katie, and Katie, if you could take the main part of the screen, that would be amazing.
Great. Thanks very much, Judith. Hello, everybody. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. This is my first Burns event of the year. In fact, it's my first sort of public event of the year. And it's my first Burns event as the new head of the Scottish Government office in Ireland. So I'm really pleased to be here. I really look forward to meeting more of you in the course of this event and at other events later in the year. For those of you who haven't met me yet, I started in this role in November, but sadly COVID has kept me based in Scotland until Monday, when I'll finally arrive in Dublin permanently. I've been with the Scottish Government for quite some time, but most recently my roles have focused on tech for good through the CivTech Public Service Accelerator programme and Connecting Scotland, which helps people get online through the pandemic. So I hope that a bit of that background around and a bit of understanding around the opportunities presented by technology is also helpful in respect of some of your interests as members of Causeway. Just to say a little bit about the relationship, I'm not going to focus too much on this, because I think at these events, the actual networking and the meeting of others is often where most of the value is. But it's clear to me, and I'm sure to all of us, that the relationship between Scotland and Ireland is one of the oldest, the warmest, and most important to both nations. Indeed, as a MacNeil, I come from a Scottish clan which claims descent from the legendary Irish King Neil of the Nine Hostages. And Burns Night is a key moment in our calendar to raise a toast to Scotland's traditions and to celebrate the immense creative inspiration that was Burns. And in addition, 2020 is Scotland's Year of Stories, and that's another thing that really links Scotland and Ireland. We share a love of storytelling, poetry, song, conviviality, friendship, and a good crack. So Burns 2020 provides a fitting time to celebrate, and fits with Causeway's aims of connecting and celebrating those business links between Scotland, Ireland and Northern Ireland. As a side note, I'd really recommend Seamus Heaney's response to Burns. He wrote a poem called A Burl for Burns. I'll not try and read it, but if you want a nice Scottish-Irish Burns connection, I'd highly recommend it. And again, it's fitting that we come together at this time, because this is almost exactly the first anniversary of the signing of the bilateral agreement between the Irish and Scottish Government, which sets out the aims that both governments have to build and to deepen relationships and provide opportunities for collaboration. Myself and Jenny and colleagues across the Scottish and Irish governments are busy preparing for the ministerial review of progress, and so in the next few weeks we expect a meeting between Simon Coveney, the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Defence in Ireland, and Angus Robertson, our Cabinet Secretary for Constitution and External Affairs. So it's a really important time. And we'll report on the progress that's gone on over the last year and set out new commitments and collaborations for the coming year. I'll not preempt what's going to be in that review. Rather, what I'd like to do is encourage all of you on the call today, and more widely in the Causeway network, is keep us informed of the progress of your businesses, your collaborations as they grow across Ireland, Scotland and Northern Ireland. Let us know how we could share your successes or make connections. As Minister Ivan McKee said in that introduction, we would love to strengthen trade and investment further. And just to wrap up, I think it's also fitting that Burns Night comes at a time of the year which is often thought of as quite bleak. We just passed the so-called Blue Monday, but I think this year, more than ever, I hope, there is reason for that hope as we emerge from COVID. The Scottish writer Andrew O'Hagan wrote about Burns in the Irish Times a few years ago. Burns has no rival when it comes to giving life to the capacity for hope. He went on to observe that Burns spoke in ways that not only defend the rights of the human imagination, showing the reader how they may live imaginatively, but that's the deepest part of art. And with Burns, it comes with a pat on the arm and a virtual drink, even though he was writing that pre-COVID. So cheers, have a great networking event. be inspired, have your imagination captured by new and old friends, and celebrate the links across Scotland, Ireland and Northern Ireland. Cheers.
Katie, that was amazing. I feel very, very inspired by that. And it was the pat on the arm that did it for me, because that's what we miss so much, not being able to. And I didn't realize I was such a touchy person until I haven't been able to do it. So that's really interesting. And we'll be interested to hear about the progress that's being made, but also what you set out to do in the next year. And so please do keep us updated on that. And I am going to check out that Seamus Heaney poem. I don't know it, but I certainly will look at that. So first of our networking groups, everybody, and Aoife has got that all sorted out. So I think what we would like to do here is maybe taking on board sort of Byrne's joyful approach to life. Maybe in your networking groups, you could talk about what you're hoping for in business this year, and if you could achieve one thing, what would it be, and how can us in the group, the room, help you achieve that? Might be quite a nice way to start your networking within your group and keep it focused on business, because that's what we're here to do today. So Aoife, over to you.
Yeah, I'll open the breakout rooms now. Well, welcome back everyone after the first session. I hope we're not feeling kind of too rusty back to the networking. It's great to kind of start the year off with this. I guess I'd really like to introduce, we've got two fantastic members of ours that are coming up to have a little chat. Both of them are actually finalists in our Scottish Exporter to Ireland category at our Causeway Awards in 2021. So first of all, I'd like to introduce Emma from Locus Logistics. Emma, it's great to have you here today. Thanks so much for taking the time out.
Not at all. Thank you very much for having us. We're delighted to be here.
Fab. And Emma, you're a Scottish family-run business based in East Kilbride, and you recently expanded your operations across Ireland. Would you be able to tell us a little bit briefly about the kind of business history and what it was that attracted you to expand the business across the Irish Sea and set up base in Ireland?
Yeah, so the company started 18 years ago. My sister and I have taken over from my parents from running the company now, and mainly it was established to support with the decline of Silicon Glen and the semiconductor move. A lot of, factories closing and moving out of Scotland, and from there we just continued to diversify services, primarily supporting the semiconductor industry, which is where the link with Ireland originally came from. There was so much work there that we were, offering our services here and in Ireland, but just on a very ad hoc basis. As we continued then over the 18 years to diversify and add different support services to build this move management solution that included packing and freight, and now we're moving on to crate making, and we're actually putting in our own sawmill, which is exciting, and you're one of the first here to do that. So as we continue to diversify, the work in Ireland has just always been quite a natural synergy. As it's declined in Scotland, it's continued to boom in Ireland, and as we've continued to serve other industries here, life sciences, pharmaceuticals, education, research, we still see the natural extension of our work with the partners and people we already have worked with in Ireland. So in 2019, we were mainly going after one project in particular, and we set up a subsidiary in Ireland, and we were kind of ready to get all systems go on that early 2020. And obviously with hindsight, we realised that in terms of timing, that was a bit doomed. So between that and the project itself moving out, we're really just focused on where we are, because in terms of starting something new outside our home, it just seemed like it was just going to be, not the best time. So this year we're really keen to get started again and really make a positive push this year to do something a bit more formal, and to really kind of get our roots down. And it's been good to get the support with that from, SDI and now from Causeway and the like over the last couple of years. It's been great.
Great, thanks so much, Emma. And it's great to hear that you could move over to Ireland to get that business booming. I mean, it's why it's so important to keep fostering these business relationships. I guess the kind of second question I have there is is there any advice that you would give to other Scottish businesses who might be kind of interested in exploring opportunities and expanding to Ireland? And how did you navigate that and kind of find the support? I know you mentioned SEI and ourselves, but was there anyone else as well that played a kind of key role in that?
You know, I think at the start, I think we had thought that because we had worked in Ireland and we had contacts in Ireland and we were familiar with customers, you know, that the setting up of it would be fairly similar. And it's not. You really do need the support to get set up and to get started. It's an entirely different process. And, you know, the kicking off point for us was our local business gateway advisor. So we have, between Business Gateway and Scottish Enterprise, they were helping us with our growth and particularly our global expansion strategy at the time. So they were really helpful, and SDI really helped make connections and set up for us. And then when we got there, we met with Emma Shield, and she was so helpful in getting us connected with people, talking us through in practical terms what this would look like, what we would need to be considering, and was really good at following up. So I definitely felt that although we had looked at this in the past before, I think now when my parents had considered doing this maybe 10 years ago, there wasn't the same level of support there as they would report as now. When I threw it out, we get an overwhelming amount of support and direction and lots of checking in to see where we were at and what we were doing. So no, I definitely found that to be a very helpful process, a very informative process. And yeah, one that was absolutely nowhere near as overwhelming as I think we had thought it was going to be.
Definitely. No, thanks so much for sharing that. And I think it's really useful to kind of get in that mindset about how similar our cultures are, but how different it is kind of in that business world. So thank you so much for sharing that. And as I say, we're delighted to welcome you as kind of one of our newest Causeway members. So really looking forward to having you on board with us, Emma, and the team. Just a quick note as well, I'd really like to invite anyone to post your LinkedIn URLs in the chat. It's a really great way to connect. It's what we're here to do today. It's for the networking. I'd now like to pass over to Judith.
Thank you so much, Megan. That's great, and a good point about LinkedIn, and our certainly that came up in our breakout group as well, that we're all going to tag each other, certainly on Burns Night, and wish each other a very good night on Tuesday. So I'm now delighted to introduce you to Jeanette McIntyre of Indiglass. You were a finalist in the Scottish Exporter to Ireland of our awards dinner just last year, which was an incredible night. So Jeanette, your business is based in Cumbernauld, yet you've been exporting your glass design successfully for a number of years, and you've worked on major projects in Northern Ireland and Ireland. So can you just tell us briefly a little bit about your company and how you went on to securing contracts in Northern Ireland and Ireland?
Hi everyone, it's great to be here this evening with you all, and yes, happy Burns Night when it comes in a few days' time. So Indiglass is a company that I did a management buyout of about 7 years ago. My own background is in interior and spatial design. I studied in Edinburgh, and something one of our lecturers on that course said to me many years ago changed the whole course of my career. And he said, Jeanette, if you want to be the best designer you can possibly be, you don't just need to know about buildings, you need to know about people and how people interact with space. So if I've ever sort of tried to provide a service for anyone, I've always kept that in mind. What are we actually trying to do to underpin the productivity of people in this space? So with that sort of methodology, if you like, I've been working with some of the top architects practices in education and healthcare throughout the UK for some years. I distribute a Danish engineered product, which is basically quite technical in everything that's all to do with using glass, but I have the distributorship of that product for the whole of the UK, and just in the last 5 years they also extended that to cover Ireland. So some of the architects we had been working with traditionally for many years secured projects in Ireland and wanted us to go with them on that journey, and at first it seemed quite daunting, but we have actually had quite a bit of support, not just through networking with Causeway, but with both governments as well, to help us with the just understand some of the different contract terms and conditions and things like that. So and also help in terms of logistics with shipping our products and deliveries and how the product can actually be installed regardless of location. So that's something we've been working on for many years. So being in healthcare, we were extremely interested in the programme of new healthcare buildings in Northern Ireland, and secured the fit out of the very sort of forerunner of these, which was Ballymena. So we worked for the main contractor here in McGovern, and that has led to more work, not just with them, but with other Irish-based companies like Graham and McLaughlin and Harvey, etc.
Wow, that's really impressive. It's really, really impressive. And you make it seem so easy, but clearly the work that you've been done previous, did that then change when Brexit came in, and how have you found that? Did you have to make much changes?
Well, Brexit, of course, like every other business, forced our hand to adopt all the digital tech that we could get our hands on in order to communicate. And there's one particular project we're in the design development stages of. The architect is in New York, Stephen Hall Associates. The design development architect is in Dublin, RKD, and of course we're in Scotland. The engineer, I think, is elsewhere in Ireland. I'm not sure where they're based, but Zoom calls, I mean, traditionally I think we would all be trying to go to the site offices of the contractor in Dublin. It's a university project, and it probably for us won't actually land on site until very late 2022, early 23. But all the design development has happened by Zoom calls. All the drawings are being shared on electronic platforms as we move through the stages of design development, sign-offs and everything. There's all these platforms that make that possible. It's just been incredible and shows how adaptable we can be if we're forced into that's the only way things move forward. So it's been quite an education and a lot of training involved.
Wow, well, that's really incredible. And I think you've just talked yourself into a job, because Aoife, as part of her work on the website for Causeway, actions out a number of blogs. And I think it would be great if you could, perhaps we'll write you a quick number of questions, but we'd really like you to maybe introduce a blog and tell us a bit more about the support you got from the Scottish and Irish governments, because I'm sure that would be really useful to other companies looking to bridge that gap really, and to import and export on both sides of the Irish Sea. So I'll ask Aoife to get in touch with you if that's okay, Jeanette.
Absolute pleasure, no problem at all. And a lot of the things are just available freely, like Digital Boost, you know, to help you adopt new systems and platforms. So yeah, it's really helpful.
That's great. Well, your top 5 things you did and links to them would be fantastic. And I know Digital Boost is great if you can get it. So that's well done in achieving that. So we now go into our second breakout session. Again, just to sort of structure how that conversation goes, is just introduce yourself, tell everybody in the group a bit about what it is you're here to do today, a little bit about your company, and how Causeway and the Causeway team can help you foster better business relationships between and support Irish-Scottish relations and collaborations. So enjoy the next 15 minutes chatting to and making new contacts.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Yes, we had a good chat. We didn't do any real business. Oh well, Jeanette and Laura maybe did business.
Yeah. Feel like I'm really getting my money's worth out of this membership, and considering only being part of it. Only joined last week, and I've got an event and a contact, so that's great.
And that's what we're here for.
Welcome back, everyone.
Everyone's coming back in now. That's perfect. see Mark had to shoot off there, but managed to get in for a quick bit of networking. Doesn't surprise me there. Welcome back, everyone, from our kind of second round of breakout rooms. It's really great to meet so many kind of new people here today. So thanks very much for joining. I'm really delighted to kind of introduce our next guest speaker. And Jenny, you're going to be involved in a couple of our events coming up. So thanks a million for taking the time out. This is Jenny Quinn. She's going to say a few words as an Irish government representative about the Irish-Scottish relationship.
Thanks, Megan, and thank you so much to Causeway for inviting me to take part and to speak today. I'd like to start by congratulating Judith and Bridget, who's not here today, and the two new co-chairs on taking up their positions. And on behalf of myself and the full consulate team, we wish you every success for the future. It has been brilliant to hear such insightful and varied discussions today. I began my posting in Edinburgh in August, and I was able to meet a few of you at the Causeway Awards ceremony in October. And as I was saying to Emma, Amanda and Martin in the breakout session, that I still feel quite new as I haven't been able to get out and meet more people just because of the restrictions. So hopefully that will change now as we approach the end of the pandemic. I'm very lucky to have attended 2 Burns Night Supper as a guest of the British Embassy in Turkey. That was complete with the address to the haggis, the toast to the lassies, the reply to the laddies and the ceilidh. And while it's a shame we can't have the full ceremonial supper this year in Edinburgh, it's wonderful to get to share the occasion with you all and to don some tartan. So for me, Burns Night is about celebrating friendship and tying in with what Katie said in her opening remarks. The Irish-Scottish relationship has always been centred on friendship and the harnessing of people-to-people connections. And the strength of this relationship, it continues to grow, with a lot of work being carried out between the two governments through the bilateral review to enhance relations and connections. And while COVID has played havoc with all aspects of our lives, we were able to deliver and make progress on a variety of the recommendations of the review, and our work on that will continue, hopefully with pace in 2022. And throughout this time, Irish companies have demonstrated their ongoing commitment to Scotland. And for me, it's been great today to learn about the Scottish companies in Ireland, or the Scottish companies who are planning to move to Ireland. And if, like Katie said earlier, if you have any initiatives or collaborations or innovations, please do share them with us. It's really important for us to get an accurate snapshot of the reality on the ground and kind of see how deep the relationship and the friendship is between Ireland and Scotland. So the work of Causeway and its members, this contributes enormously to achieving our shared ambitions. And as Aoife said earlier, there's a great team spirit that it's like a tribe. And having useful events like this, it really showcases the diversity and the depth of talent within the membership, and it shows the added value for taking part. And I think that's evident from the discussions today, the sharing of ideas in the breakout room, and next week even there's the Young Professionals event, which is focusing on tackling the climate emergency through innovation. And I think from this event alone, it's clear to me that these aren't one-way broadcasts to an audience, that it's the members really getting to engage enthusiastically in knowledge sharing, in lessons learning, giving practical advice and support, connecting people. And whether you're a senior leader or a junior professional, the kind of cross-sectoral engagement, it really embodies the spirit and camaraderie of Robert Burns. And this energy, enthusiasm, creativity and culture of shared learning, it will continue to deepen the friendship between Ireland and Scotland and enhance the bilateral relationship. And for that, I would say many thanks. I wish you all continued success and wish you happy Burns Night in a few nights.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's really great to kind of hear both angles. That's really important to us at Causeway, so it's great to have you here. We were going to jump into some more networking, but actually I think we're all kind of raring to go for the toast now. We've had some really good opportunities, and thanks a million to everyone, all of our attendees and guest speakers who came along today. It's really appreciated. And I'd just like to pass over to Finn O'Neill, who's going to give our Burns toast.
Actually, Megan, on that, everybody might want to go and grab something, because I'm not sure if everybody's got something. So you've got 30 seconds to grab some alcohol. Go for it.
Good shout, Bridget or Judith. Run.
It is 5 o'clock officially now as well, so yeah. I feel like it's more acceptable now.
That's good logic, Megan.
Just for the record, not all Irish people drink alcohol.
That's right. A drink of any form. It's up to you.
Right, I think
perfect. Looking. I can see quite a lot of faces. Ready. So hopefully it meant everyone came prepared. So Finn, if you're ready to take it away.
Of course. I should say I am in a kilt, but if I stand up, all you'll see is the sporran. So I'm just going to stay sitting down. But I have my dram ready. And yeah, so here's a toast to Causeway. To think about what Causeway means, it's connection. It's connection between two coasts, but more than that, it's a connection between shared cultural values and a shared understanding of identity. I think this is well expressed in the last lines of Burns' A Man's a Man, which go, for all that and all that, it's coming yet for all that. That man to man the world over, or shall brothers be for all that. And although the language may be antiquated, that concept of unity across space is central to the nature of Causeway. And secondly, to turn to the great Irish bard, Seamus Heaney, given these connections that bring us together, the pandemic has disrupted the geographic and the tangible relationships that we shared across the Irish Sea. So hopefully, with an end to the pandemic in sight, I thought of a few words from Heaney's chorus in The Curate Troy. So hope for a great sea change. Believe that a further shore is reachable from here. Just a Causeway.
The Causeway. Thanks, Finn. That was really great. That was absolutely super. Really.
Thanks, everyone. Everyone can come off mute and say Sláinte. Cheers.
Sláinte.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Okay, so I think what would be really nice is if we just open the floor, and if anybody had something that they would like to share with us, just for the last few minutes before I hand you back on to Megan to say a few words. The final bit, which is trying to get everybody to make sure that you are members of Causeway. And just a final thing for me is that, you know, we as directors give our time up for free. And we do that because we believe passionately in the power of this organisation. What will make it successful is the more people in it, and your support as being members is fantastic to that. So if anybody would like to just tell us their experience of being a Causeway member, please feel free to jump in just now while you drink your drink.
We also have one of our members is a published poet.
Ian
Beckett.
So Ian, we did see that poem come through, and we thought if we have time, we might hand it over to you. So why don't you just take the floor? Go for it.
No, I'm not going to burden you with any of my poems because it'll cause everyone to run away. But I found, I suppose, the story of poetry is efficient communication, which is probably the story of Causeway as well, because I used to have 10 different IT organizations around the world, and I used to be able to write my monthly report in 10 lines, which is quite, difficult. But usually no time to write a short letter, so I wrote you a long one. And that I then started to write the history of what I did. And after 20 years, I read it back and I got terribly bored. It was really the most boring thing ever. So I decided to move on to communication by poetry. And I would write about the events and people I met, which made people nervous. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think you need to say one on Causeway. That'll be the challenge to you.
Okay, I'll accept that challenge.
Oh, amazing.
A bridge, Causeway will be not a bridge too far.
Oh, well, listen, that would be a great legacy. I can say Bridget and I, after our 2 years, we have a poem written. We commissioned some poetry. That would be fantastic. So
consider it done.
Oh, amazing. I love that. I wish everybody else would take my challenges and run with them. That doesn't happen very often. Okay, great. Well, I would like to hand over to Megan, who would like to say words about the benefits of joining Causeway.
Yeah, great. Thanks. I mean, it's so great to see everyone here today. And I think we're so lucky to have such great relationships with the Irish and Scottish governments. So thank you, everyone, for coming along. I guess There's in our breakout rooms, we got to discuss loads of the amazing benefits of Causeway, and I think the kind of main thread that runs throughout this all is the people that are members and the opportunities that are available. So I'd really encourage anyone who's not a member to join because of the incredible connections we have. It's an amazing platform for your business, the branding and promotional opportunities that are available through our network, and the introductions that we can help make to you are going to be absolutely invaluable to your business going forward, particularly when most of us are still working in a kind of majority remote world. So I really look forward to kind of chatting with anyone who's not a member after about how we might be able to help your business. The other thing I'd just like to highlight is next week we've got our event, which is focusing on businesses tackling the climate emergency through innovation. We're really fortunate to have Finn, who gave our amazing toast, hosting that event next week. So please do get along to that if you can. Jenny's going to be speaking at that, and Sandy from the Scottish Government as well. So we're going to be really fortunate to have them there. And we've got some amazing speakers, Mott MacDonald, Paw Print and Farming Carbon. It's one not to be missed to explore such an important topic just now. We've also got some really exciting series of events coming up this year. Our young professionals are also hosting International Women's Day, as well as an entrepreneurial event. We've got a renewables series and a fintech series, so do keep an eye on our website and on the emails coming through to sign up to those events, because I think they're going to be really popular. And the last bit I wanted to say is, first of all, to export the chat today. And that's a really important tool that we can use to make sure to connect in with everyone. And the other bit is just to look out for an email that's going to be coming out from me next week. It's going to be a really great chance for you to benefit from introducing new members of Causeway, and some really good incentives to get more members in. As Judith says, it's absolutely integral to the success of Causeway. So happy Burns Day, everyone. Delighted to see you here today.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks, everyone. Great to see you all.
Thank you so much again, everybody. Have a wonderful Burns night, and do spread the Causeway word. Thank you so much indeed.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Judith.
Thanks, everybody. Absolute pleasure.
Thanks.